Hello, Bobs. We're back with Frank Leslie's Christmas book, 1889 to 1890. Yeah, buddy. All right, chapter 3 Hide and Seek. Old Mary was in a terrible consternation when she went up to the nursery with Bonny's tea and could not find him. She called him. She looked all around the room. She went downstairs. She came up again, and yet no Bonny was to be seen. It's some of his mischief, she said to herself. He's hiding somewhere just to plague me. He couldn't disappear up a chimney or through a keyhole. So in the house he must be. It wasn't as if he went out by himself ever. He never did. Besides, there were his hat and jacket in their usual place. Nothing had disappeared but Bonny himself. It was most mysterious. Suddenly a dreadful idea occurred to her. She ran to the window, threw it hastily up, and stretched her head out. To her intense relief, there was no sign of Bonny lying in the bit of front garden beneath, so he had not fallen out of the window. But where is he? Said Mary to herself. He is a little imp of mischief when he takes it in his head, and he is hidden up in some odd corner. But you'll soon have to come out of that, Master Bonny, and so I tell you. She looked in the funniest places, under all the beds, in the... And here's some illustrations that have nothing to do with the story and break up the story. In the cupboards, behind the curtains, under the chairs, in all the beds, behind every door, and in every odd corner, where a child could squeeze. Then she opened all the drawers and peeped into all the boxes upstairs, under the washstands, and moved everything on the shelves and tops of the cupboards. Then she descended to the kitchen and narrowly inspected every hole and corner, not omitting the dustbin, but still no Bonny was to be found. Mary began to grow very nervous, for it was getting dark, and presently Mr. Cameron would be home. I know, she said suddenly, he's dodging me about. While I'm looking in one place, he slips into another. She did not dare say a word to her mistress, who was too ill to be worried. And as she could not sit still, she went up to the top of the house and began to search over again, looking as people do when they keep on searching and cannot find a thing. At last she heard Mr. Cameron's step in the hall. Please, sir, she said in much trepidation, Master Bonny's hiding up somewhere, and I cannot find him. Then look again, Mr. Cameron said shortly. Please, sir, I have looked again, Mary replied. Well, then look further. But I've looked everywhere, and he's just dodging me. Nonsense, as if a woman of your age could be bamboozled by a baby like that. The child's in the house, then find him. Mary departed crestfallen. As soon as Mr. Cameron had finished his solitary meal, he went into his wife's room. When he came out, he rang the bell and said, Bring Master Bonny for a few minutes. Master Bonny's not found yet, sir. Not found, thundered Mr. Cameron. Whatever do you mean? I can't find him anywhere, sir. I've looked everywhere. Where that child's hid himself, I'd just like to know. Goodness me, woman, what are you trying to say? Mr. Cameron cried in his abrupt manner when put out. Do you mean to tell me that you've not found that child yet? The woman must be mad. I think, sir, you'd better look yourself, Mary replied with much haughtiness. Tell me this, is the child in the house? Why, yes, sir, of course he is. He's never allowed out alone. Never allowed is all very well. How do you know he hasn't gone without being allowed? Because his hat and jacket hasn't been touched. Besides, added Mary, do you suppose, sir, that child could leave the house without me knowing it? What has my eye on him the whole day long? Besides, a timid bit of a thing like him wouldn't dare go out into the streets in the dark. You'll be sure. When did you last see him? Mr. Cameron asked. Well, he was downstairs with me safe enough all the afternoon till tea time. Then I sent him up and told him I was coming directly, and up he went straight off to the nursery, and I am sure, sir, he's never been down them stairs since. Then it's easy enough. And as he spoke, Mr. Cameron strode upstairs. But he did not find Bonny either. Mary followed him from place to place like a shadow. Not only was Bonny not to be seen, but not a sound of him was to be heard. When they both came downstairs, they stood looking at each other, as Bonny himself might have said, like two stupids. The child is lost, Mr. Cameron said in an awful voice, and you, with your dodgings, have done a clever thing now. He's never left this house, I'm quite positive, said Mary, but there's always was something odd about that child, and this is oddest of all. He might just as well have melted like one of his dolls, for all I can tell where he is. And that's the end of chapter 3. Hide and seek. I don't think he was hiding and seeking. He just left. All right, that's all, bros. Goodbye for now.